Which reminds me, we haven't come up with our joke of the day.
What's a pirate's favorite letter? Arr.
No, find us. Can you find us a new joke? A new boat joke? It has to be new. And it has to be funny.
Ooh, no promises on the funny part.
Last time aboard Freedom, we left Cypress Island to head south to Poulsbo for the third annual Nordhavens Across Puget Sound Rendezvous. If you missed it and want to see a ton of beautiful Nordhavens, be sure to check it out. It was a fun weekend with fantastic people, but now it's time to cruise back north in Puget Sound to our next destination. So we're underway, and the weather couldn't be better. There is like 2.6 knots of wind, so we'll call that zero, and it's so different from the beginning of this week where it was cruddy weather, gray, rain, just you name it, just bad boating weather. So it's great that today going forward, the wind forecast looks amazing because where we are going, we can have like no wind. It's not very protected, but it's an awesome new place for us. And it's the largest of something in the United States. If you have any clue where that is, let us know. And it's in an area where if there is any wind, it can be pretty gnarly. So we are getting really lucky. We're gonna make it to about the Port Townsend area today, and then tomorrow morning go to our final destination. So the wind to Port Townsend today looks good. And then tomorrow morning, the wind heading to our final destination looks even better, which is why we're dividing it up into two. And we're also getting a slightly later start. And since we've got like 9 hours and we want to enjoy dinner, we'll just divide it into two. So hopefully we don't get any really strong current going against us to get us there later, but so far so good. Sean and I are feeling like we've seen quite a bit of the Puget Sound area over the past 7 years, so we're taking every chance we get to go a little farther and see a little more of what this region has to offer. After having this place on our cruising bucket list for several years, there's no better time to explore it than during a wind-free weekend.
Do I see rain?
Maybe a real little bit of mist I can see on the window.
It never rains here. Why is it raining?
Kidding? It always rains here.
Exactly.
It looks brighter ahead though.
Yeah? Aren't we going to like the Sunshine Pocket?
Sunshine Belt or something?
Yeah.
Or the rain is, what do they say, shadowed or something by the mountains?
Something like that. I'll have to Google it.
Yeah.
Besides sitting in the rain shadow of the Olympic Mountains, our final destination this weekend is also the lavender capital of North America, rivaled only by France. It's a landmark within the United States, and it grows larger each year. Have you guessed where we're going yet?
Are you happy with the engine, Tim?
Yeah, I'm super happy. The last couple times we took the boat out, the engine was running a little hotter than normal. Not too hot to be concerned, but we were starting to get up to about 200. When we were at 2,000 RPMs, the engine temperature would get up to 200, maybe 205, and then it would go back down. So I thought that maybe the keel cooler was dirty and it wasn't cooling the antifreeze as efficiently as it should. So I dove the boat and it was squeaky clean. So this morning I changed out both of our thermostats. There's two of them on the engine. And I suspect, since we weren't grossly overheating, that obviously one of the thermostats was working correctly, but I think the higher temp rated one of the two was maybe sticking or not opening until it reached a little bit higher temperature than it ought to. Also, one of the gaskets that hold it in place had a tear, so maybe there was cooler antifreeze going down on it and it wasn't getting hot enough to open. But it seems like the problem's fixed. We've been running at 2,000 RPM now for probably the last 15 or 20 minutes, and the temperature staying right between 180 and 190, right where it ought to be.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It's great that we diverted any type of engine issue.
Yeah. I'm glad it never got too hot too that it would have caused any damage. I mean, it was kind of a weird problem because it was sort of right at the upper end of what you might consider normal, but just different than what we had seen, in our experience with the boat over the last 3 years. So
Yeah.
good to go.
Nice. And just in the nick of time, too.
Yep,
Fixed for us to leave.
that's right.
We've got about 5 hours to go. I'm in the Galley and I'm going to make us an appetizer for tonight. It's a really quick and easy roasted tomato salad, and it's almost like a tapenade salad, I guess. And it's so good. Some friends of ours recently had us over for dinner, and they had that with some crisps and some other stuff, and it was just delicious. So it's easy, and when you got 5 hours underway, you might as well get a head start with dinner. So I'm going to do that. But our Force 10 oven, although it works just fine and it fits perfectly in our Galley, it takes forever to preheat. So I've got about 45 minutes to wait to preheat for 425. So I'm just going to enjoy the scenery and maybe watch podcasts to get all my stuff prepped, and then get it in the oven, and voila, there we go. I think our tomatoes are done. They are ready to go in the oven, but the oven isn't ready for them yet. So we got about 15 more minutes, and then I'll stick them in and we will have appetizers. But the cool thing is, in the time it took me to prep, the sun is coming out and there's blue sky. Kind of, sort of. So hopefully the rest of the day and the afternoon just keeps getting better.
They don't look really done, but they've all kind of popped. Hey, so Sean, that pirate impersonation you just did,
Arr.
it reminds me, that reminds me of that joke. Which reminds me, we haven't come up with our joke of the day.
What's a pirate's favorite letter? Arr.
No, can you find us a new joke? A new boat joke?
I need to Google.
And it has to be new. And it has to be funny.
Ooh, no promises on the funny part.
Sean, have you found one yet? Kind of taking a while. Is there a lack of funny jokes on the web.
Yeah. Here's one.
Oh, you found one? Ooh, we found one.
Why does the Norwegian Navy have barcodes on the sides of their ships?
I don't know.
So when the ships come back into port, they can Scandinavians.
You found a good one.
Scandinavian.
Yeah. Well, your work for today is done.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think of that? I think that's our funniest joke yet. And being from the Midwest, it's just funny, like, Scandinavian. Oh, we're gonna Scandinavian. Ditka. Doubt bears. See, now I'm gonna have that in my head for the rest of the day. Scandinavian. Oh, a lot of traffic out here today.
Yeah.
We've had like 3 vessels pass.
Must be a lot of other people that have the same idea.
Yeah, long weekend. Beats regular traffic, that's for damn sure. Which, speaking of traffic, it's getting bad again. Like, Seattle traffic is coming back.
You gonna smash the log in front of you? Or?
There is no log. Oh.
Well, that ain't gonna do anything.
What? These are like little tiny sticks. What? And then go back to nav?
Yeah, but maybe steer close to the course. Like, you're 90 degrees off. Where are you going?
Where am I going? Oh. God, this is so heavy. Should the steering wheel be this heavy and hard to move? Oh my God. Whew. Crisis diverted. Aren't you glad I became a captain?
And then, yeah, hit cross.
Reset.
Reset.
Cross track error or something or other. Yeah, I clicked that. Huh. All right, back on track. Well, now that we're back on track, we're almost to our anchorage for the night. Killisut Harbor, located just south of Port Townsend, between Indian and Marrowstone Islands. This is a great place to enjoy for days on end like we did last summer, or just for the night. The entrance into the harbor can be tricky, especially when arriving during a pretty large -3-foot tide. So we were extra diligent about following the charts so we didn't end up in one of these shallow sandbars. Once we cleared the sandbars, dropped our anchor, and did a little wipey-wipey, as Sean likes to say, it was time to cheers to the long weekend.
Sully, let's go potty. No? Maybe later?
Thanks for getting the patio ready.
Oh, yeah.
Oh! Did you get him?
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah.
Those little buggers. They're not welcome aboard Freedom.
No.
If you need a gift for the boater in your life, or a Christmas in July gift, get them the electric fly swatter. I love this thing. We keep our doors open, and occasionally, I mean, we don't have a lot of bugs out here, but when we do, we zap them. Best thing ever. If I had to have like one thing on the boat, it would be this. I think our roasted tomato turned out pretty good. Sean, I think you're going to be happy with the final result.
I'm sure I will.
And then we'll get a little mozzarella. Woo!
Opa.
Opa! Only the finest china.
Don't break it.
That's boat life for you. Whatever this is.
Well,
Cheers.
sweetie, cheers to the long weekend.
Cheers to the long weekend.
Cheers to the freaking long weekend.
And that I'm here next week.
And that you're here for a week.
Yep. Cheers.
Cheers. Delish. Such a beautiful night.
Yeah.
Okay, so dinner is served and Sean has whipped up a feast. Sean's been like on the professional chef spectrum lately, and this galley is the biggest galley / kitchen we've pretty much ever had, except one of our apartments we had, I think, was a little bigger, but I think it's inspired him to become a chef. So we're gonna enjoy a delicious dinner and we will see you in the morning. As always, thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed this boating day as much as we did. Be sure to subscribe and smack that notification bell so you don't miss next time when we explore one of the most breathtaking anchorages in the Pacific Northwest. With no wind, of course. We'll see you next time.
Hey guys, welcome back to Margarita Time with the Captain. Q&A time with the Captain. This week we have 3 questions teed up for you. Let's go ahead and get started. Our first question this week comes from Vince. Vince lives in Southampton, UK. Do you think of your boat as a boat or a ship? Various ideas abound as to what defines one or the other. One theory is that ships lean outwards when turning, whereas boats lean inward. What does Freedom do? So actually, yeah, Freedom handles a bit like a small ship compared to the previous boats that we have. When the stabilizers are off, the boat does lean outward on a turn, and the boat is just a very heavy boat, so it carries its momentum, and it's I guess maybe slower, more lethargic than some of the lighter boats that we've had, so it kind of feels like a ship. In contrast to our previous Sea Ray, which was a 40-foot boat and about dimensionally the same as this, our boat weighs 3 times as much as our previous boat. So when it comes to stopping all that mass, it takes, exponentially longer, and starting all of that mass takes longer, and the ride just is a lot more solid feeling. So it definitely rides more like a ship in comparison to our previous boats. Our next question this week comes from Tim. Tim lives in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Have you ever considered adding wing stations to your Portuguese bridge? No, that's not something we've considered. This boat is small enough that you can easily get out the pilot house doors to get a good look at things, and then you can come back to the helm if you need to make a correction. I do have a wireless remote for our bow thruster, which is extremely helpful, and if you had a stern thruster, it would be easy to tie that in as well. But for us to run engine cables out to the Portuguese bridge would be difficult because we don't have an electronically controlled engine, so it's all mechanical cables, and it's really just not worth it. There's not enough real estate out in the bridge to mount such a station, and again, because of the small size, we're able to handle it just fine. Our last question this week comes from Larry. Larry lives in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. What type of first aid measures do you have in place to deal with minor injuries? How would you handle a more pressing medical situation or emergency, especially underway or on the hook in a remote anchorage? For dealing with injuries, we do have a first aid kit. It's one that you can buy that's all prepackaged with wound care type stuff, and gauze and bandages and ice packs and stuff to deal with cuts and sprains and burns. So we would use that to deal with any situation that we had. If it was more serious than that, really our only option at that point is to call on the radio for help. Maybe there's a medical professional that's a boater in the area that can come by and help. Potentially the Coast Guard or some local authority might be able to help. But basically, whoever is not injured would make a beeline towards the nearest port or shore, and during the duration to port or shore, we would try to get a hold of people both on the VHF radio as well as calling land-based people with our cell phones, trying to look for help. We are both CPR certified. That's a requirement, first aid and CPR training when we had to get our captain's license, so that'll be helpful. And we also live by the rule that when it's our time to go, it's our time to go. So if I'm meant to be taken off this planet by having a heart attack at sea, I guess that's the way that I'm going to go. As always, thanks for all the really great questions. Don't worry if you submitted one of yours, it'll likely get answered in an upcoming video. And if you want one of your questions answered, look us up on Instagram and drop us a direct line with your name, your location, and your question. We'll get it added to the list and hopefully get you featured on an upcoming video. Hope everybody has a great week, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers, guys.